Okay. Okay, you guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. Listen, this is my review for The Kings of Napa. This is season 1, episode 2. Now, okay, so my big thing last week was this is new. Um, the acting wasn't the best, but we're given grace. We're given grace as pertains to the acting. Um, it was moving along pretty fast for me, but we're going again. We're giving grace. We got to give them a chance to get into their zhuzh, before we start being really harsh on them. Come on, Carolyn. Carolyn, she's watching now. Yeah, we gotta give them some grace. That's just all there's to it. Everybody's do it when you first start these things. It could be a little bumpy at the beginning, and that's cool. That's cool. But it did get, hey Xavier, and still standing. It got a little um Nancy Drew-esque for me this episode. But I said, okay, and I knew before I even watched it, Child of Protege was on my phone saying, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. And that's usually not her. I'm the one that gives up first. Really be. She'd be riding hard, and I'd be like, girl, I'm done. But I'm here. Okay, so listen, this is the first thing that I heard that they didn't go back and say anything else about it, but it burned into my brain. I was like, mm-mm. They said some about the grandmother. And they had we have a grandmother who's in Paris who didn't even make it for the funeral. It was so out of left field. See, again, I said that about this script. There's these little nuances that they skip over that you could really build onto. What's up with the grandmother? Why is the grandmother in Paris? What's her whole thing? Does she really deal with them? Does she not really deal with them? Why ain't she make it for the funeral? You know how mothers are, black mothers and their sons. Why ain't grandmother make it back from Paris? And they got money, so it's not a money issue. So what's the issue with Nana over in Paris? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, so listen. Um, August and Bridget are naturally they're still doing their sister thing, and they're sneaking and seeing each other and everything. They actually had this little lunch date, and um, Bridget opened up to August about there being a bank across the street from the restaurant that they go to, and that her and Reggie actually had like a standing, really it was a daddy daughter date that they had weekly. And she was saying that he used to go to that bank all the time. It's like, no. She's like, no, I'm telling you, he used to do it. So they got together, went to the bank, found out this is where the money is being deposited, that is being extorted from them, and all of this kind of carrying on. Um, a little bit after that, Bridget and Melanie actually they all talk, and Bridget knows of the extortion. I'm not Bridget, I'm sorry. Melanie knows of the extortion, but she says she didn't know who was actually doing it. She didn't know who was doing it. And August ended up coming in the midst of it. And this is the first time that we actually seen August is actually being a bit shady to Melanie, which, it is what it is. Would say if I was at a play, I would have been hollering, booing, throwing tomato. Ah, you so shady. So this is the first time we see August throw a little shade. Melanie did y'all catch that? Melanie went to hug her, and she's like, no. Not yet. I was like, ooh, that's kind of, oof, okay. But now the thing, Vanessa is off the chain with her behavior as pertains to Bridget. I don't like it. And it really is starting to get under my skin quite a bit, because this is adults' business. And though they are adults now, to them two sisters, they're still children. They're still children. I don't involve myself in things that had to do with my mother and her sister. And, it just, my mother, my mother and her sister were sisters a long, long time before I ever was even thought about. So who am I to insert myself into something going on with them? I let them do what they be doing. I don't, that's a mess. But that's the way I was raised. I handle my sister. You handle your brother. I handle my sister. Is what it is. Hey, Kevin. So anyway, um, Vanessa ends up meeting with Yvette. Now, Yvette is the one. See, this is the thing. Yvette is the whore running around. They got all the stories from all the different angles, and nobody really knows it. But Yvette got all the information, everything, where her ghetto is, and she know everything that's going on. I said she's so messy, child. You said sisters are very messy and dragging the girls in. It's terrible, Melissa. It's terrible. It's terrible. And it doesn't look good at all. And Vanessa, she can't even act. So that just is her acting. In this, I don't know. I don't know her for her work other than this, but she's really draining me in this. She ain't settling into that role just yet. She don't even seem comfortable saying the things that she's saying, because they have some lines written for her that's like, ooh, but she don't even seem comfortable saying them. But anyway, we can give her grace. Um, what I noticed with her, when Vanessa sat down to talk to Yvette, she's trying to literally patrol everybody that deals with Melanie and don't want them to deal with her and all of that. And then she made a comment, and this is when I said, you really are over the top with this, when she referred to her niece as a casualty of war. This is the niece. You were literally raising this girl. She basically was under your eye and your tutelage, because her mother was running around in Africa or whatever. You all basically raised her, and now you're calling her, literally after just a few weeks, something went down, and you're calling her a casualty of war. That says a lot about you as a person. You ain't shit. And obviously haven't been all this time. Horrible. Anyway, so the two sisters actually go over with old Dana. Dana is a piece of work. And I'm just going to say this now. I'm going to say this, and it's going to be on record. I think Dana is the extortionist, personally. I think it's Dana. And I think if it's not Dana, I think Dana and his wife knows who it is, and they got something to do with it. That's just my feeling. Where am I pulling that from? My crawl. Right up in my crawl is Dana and his bald-headed wife with her sharp self. She is so goddamn sharp with her bald-headed evil self. I like her though. She's sharp. Anyway, there was a call that actually came through when they were talking. The two sisters, and he's like, "You told her?" And she's like, "Yeah, I told her. She's family, And right while they were talking, a call came through, and the extortionist is over there threatening the mother, saying, "I'm 3 minutes from where I can put my hand around your mother's neck." So this person is actually on their grounds. And I'm like, yeah, I still believe, even though Dana's standing there, his wife wasn't standing there. Because they're using a voice thing anyway. Something is actually going on. And I believe it has something to do with that. But they're threatening her. They're right there on the grounds. If this is getting a little Nancy Drew. First of all, anybody who has the money they have got cameras everywhere. Anybody who has the money that they have, you ain't getting up on the grounds and just being around like that and don't nobody know nothing about it. So that's just bull crap. Moving on. So there's this whole there was this gala that they went to, and the mother went and spoke, and then they all were leaving. And Dana's wife stayed at the gala. The rest of the family left. And this is where they were supposed to drop off this $150,000 payment. And they told the extortionist told August, come by yourself. She came with her, Bridget, and Dana. So we saw them watching them bring it up and all, bring the money and put the money down and all that stuff. But the whole drop off scene of the money was so cornball. It was so corny. I was like, this is so corny and so unbelievable. And it was cornball. It was, I said there like, welcome to the Corny Collins show, honey. It was corny. You just drop the money, run it. It was just corny. Anyway, moving on. So now the younger brother's having his own little situation. Child of folks that work down at the Vines don't have any use for him. Whoever this man is that's in charge of the operation down there at the Grapevines, he just talks to him like he ain't shit. He's like, you're ridiculous. Why don't you just go buy some more designer sneakers or something? Just go anywhere other than here. Just go away. I'm like, wow. Okay. So he ended up having a conversation with Yvette, and Yvette did her pep talk, which is why I found that I like Yvette, because she could pull it together. She told him, your father knew what you were capable of, and you're capable of more than what you give yourself credit for. And what you have to do is you have to literally make them respect you and make them see it. You have to show them through your work. And he was like, all right. And he did. He felt better. That Aunt Yvette keeps it. She's like she really is the matriarch of the family, but they don't really respect her as such. But she really is. Vanessa ain't shit. Period. So, or maybe it's Yvette is the extortionist. She could be, because she know where all the bodies is buried. So it really could be Yvette. And she ghetto too. She ghetto as hell. Yeah, she ghetto. Could be. Good point. Okay, so then after the money drop off, Dana, August, and what's the sister's name? Bridget were at a little restaurant, and they end up running into Kelvin's wife. Dana's over there hitting on her, carrying on. Dana then showed himself when Dana said Dad was a traitor, and he wants to tell the mother, because they've been hiding everything from the mother about the extortion. And because they're like, if she one more thing come through, she gonna crack. You know what I mean? And Dana's like, no, I'm telling her. So the next day, Dana was getting ready to tell her, him and his wife, they were getting ready to tell her. August is standing there. Vanessa comes in, and he ended up chickening out. He chickened out. And then she turned around, and I said, Vanessa is off the chain with everybody, because she ended up telling them, she told August, you got 6 months to turn all of this around and get this business rolling, or, I'm part of the board. We'll vote you out of being president. I said, well, dag, okay. Listen, Vanessa don't love nobody but Vanessa, is what I see. And Vanessa's bitter about giving up her career. She's real. It's all a bunch of misplaced anger, because she's mad as hell at her husband and him cheating on her. But she's taking it out on everybody. After that, we see August go and see Calvin. Calvin basically tells her, he got Melanie to ease up about the payments. And she's saying, she knew that there's some financial hardship, but she's willing to work and play ball, and it's cool. Then he turned around and he starts basically hitting on August, and August is like, she basically cusses him out, telling him, like, I was with your wife last night and seeing her and this, that, and the other. He let her finish it all. All she was telling his ass off something, Terry. She was reading him the right act. And then got done and said, we are actually separated. We didn't go public saying we're separated because we just didn't need all that extra business going on. But we're separated. And then she said over the grin, I'm like, girl, stop. You still don't need to mess with him. Leave him alone. But anyway, they just got to build something. See, it's kind of corny stuff. Like they just throwing in this little corny stuff where I feel like they missed a lot of opportunities constantly through this episode that are things that are more interesting, because I don't care about Kelvin. Now that Melanie has agreed to terms of payoff, we don't need to see Kelvin anymore. Like, who cares? Who gives a shit about what Kelvin's doing? No one cares. Anyway, but I didn't write it, so moving on. Bridget then finds these love letters and these mixtapes that Reginald had written to her mother, Melanie. She goes over and she's talking to, she knows she ain't got no business in the house, but she goes into the house and she's talking to, Bridget's talking to August about it. Vanessa overhears it, basically tells them both off, and then shows her ass, because there was a scheduling of these the sisters from Baltimore, and she was supposed to go and do a little tour with them. Instead of doing the tour, baby, she went on down there, and this is what I said: no, Miss Vanessa, we don't need you. We need Lynn Whitfield. We need Lynn Whitfield, because only Lynn Whitfield could have delivered this scene the way it needed to be delivered. Instead of doing the tour, she went over there, baby, and let go and let have. It was like, child, listen, my husband, I gave up my career. I could have been a famous anchor woman. This, that, I could have been the next Gayle King. This, that, thing, and the other, and on and on and on. And all I got in return for giving up my dreams and my goals instead of outside this man was infidelity and a sister. You heard me. A sister, my blood sister, who turned around and sat on my husband's big black. I said, oh. I was like, oh, did she say it? Oh my God. I said, Oprah, girl, you really are loosening up with what you're allowing to be said in these shows. The Have and the Have-Nots was the show that we would hear all the juicy salaciousness, and it still was, some things was bleeped and stuff. Child, Oprah has really come around, honey. It's just like, go on, say what you want to say. I don't give a damn. Hey, big black, I said, oh, and I sat on it. Said, girl, you don't know. You wasn't working the light switch. You don't know what she did. She might have got it on her side. Shut up, Vanessa. Anyway, but then she said so to the group of ladies. The group of ladies was looking, and their acting was bad too, even the extras. I said, Charlie, she gave me one of them roles. Honey, I'd have been over there carrying, honey. What you say? I said, woo! What you say? I'd have cut up, child. But there's over there, and they was like, oh. I said, who hired these hoes? Anyway, so she said, right on her side, Chantal, baby. You ain't always got to sit on it, honey. Sometimes you can receive a burst of goodness, honey, leaning over the counter. Anyway, anyway. So then she said, just remember, ladies, remember, we are the House of Kings. It's all about Black excellence and infidelity. I said, oh. She said, now, see you all next year. I was like, oh, God. It was funny, but we needed Lynn Whitfield to actually deliver the line. We needed Lynn Whitfield. Lynn Whitfield would have smoked it, okay? It would have took this thing to a whole new level. We need Lynn Whitfield. Anyway, moving on. So, August gets another call, and the caller, he's fussing now about telling her, I told you to come by yourself. You ain't come by yourself. If you don't come by yourself next time, I'll make your life a living hell. I was like, this is just so Nancy Drew for me. I'm really sick of this. I'm like, really, I keep looking around and I'm like, so who got the Scooby Snacks, child? And I really feel like it's going to be like a Scooby Doo mystery, like we've been looking at the killer or the crook all along. You know how they used to do it, all the Scooby Doos. That's what it's given. And they told her that something about the chocolates for Vanessa. Vanessa had these chocolates. So again, this person's in the house yet again, and this time they done went up in Vanessa's room and left some chocolates. And they so corny. So Vanessa's like, them is my chocolates. I want to eat my chocolates. I said, oh, just shut your goddamn mouth, you stupid idiot. It was, and she took the chocolates off her and told her, you eating too much chocolate. Just corny. It got real corny. I understood exactly what Really B was saying to me when I watched it. I was like, child, y'all wearing me thin. So this is the thing. Shortly after that, August goes to Bridget and tells her, I don't know when I'll be able to get your job back or if. You just got to kind of trust me. Because the way this is going, if one more thing will really break my mother mentally and I just can't do it. So you just got to, work with me. So now Bridget was like, girl, I don't want to hear that bullshit. I'm sick of this. I don't want to hear that. This is what we're doing. I don't want to have to go get legal representation to handle y'all and handle this, but I've been nice. But my last name is actually really King too. He was my daddy, just like he was y'all's daddy. And I'm going to get some respect, whether I have to go and get a lawyer to get it or not. So it's on and it's going to be popping. While they end up having this conversation, Melanie shows up afterwards over at the house. Vanessa opens the door. So now we got Vanessa and Melanie face to face for the first time since she saw her sister that she screwed her husband and had a baby, which is Denise. So they get to going back and forth. She tells her, mental illness runs in our family. I said, what the hell is y'all throwing at us now, honey? Brian, what'd you say, Brian? Mental illness runs in our family. And all of this on my daughter could really make her break. She said, I don't give a damn about your daughter. It's on Spicy Red. This show comes on OWN. I don't give a damn about your daughter and what you're talking about. And told her, my daughter, see, if my daughter had just wanted to give your daughter back her job, I would have stood right behind my daughter. But I, unlike you, have a daughter that cares about me. And she did what was best for me. And she got rid of your daughter. See how that works? My daughter. Your daughter. And I'm looking at August's face. And August is like, I did all of this. I basically double-crossed my best friend and my sister. Lost my best friend and my sister. All along, my mother been playing games. If I would have just knuckled down and told her, listen, I'm not going to do that to my sister, it wouldn't even been no issue. And now, here I am, no best friend. Sister ain't messing with me. Now she going to have legal proceedings against the business. So now I'm looking real crazy as the president. And all for nothing. All for nothing. Because your mother played games with you. And then your mother turned around at the same time and told you if she don't get her way, she'll vote your ass out of the presidency. So she really has herself in a whole bunch of foolish mess. And really, it was all for nothing. All she had to do from the door is just be the president of the company and say, sit your heartbroken ass down. He cheated on you. Your sister sat on his big black. You said it. We didn't. Those was your words and not mine. You said your husband had a big black and your sister sat on it, honey, and then had a baby. But all she had to do is tell her mother to sit down, take Dana and smack him in his forehead and watch the wife. Be ready for her. As I told y'all last week, that wife, when that wife casually called her a bitch, I said, no, ma'am. Now, I wish my brother would bring a whore through here. And she casually called me a bitch and walk out of here like it was okay. And the rest of my family is sitting around here. Child, I will sit right down and pour me up a bunch of glasses, honey, and I'll do a round table with my whole family, honey. And I'll walk around the table and give them this, honey, and throw something in all their faces. You don't bring nobody into the family and they just come through and just start disrespecting your family members. What? You get married, you get the ring. That's it. The ring don't mean a thing when you start disrespecting the members of the family. Don't get too ahead of yourself, honey. Sit down. We gave you a pretty dress and a nice party. Don't get an ass whooping to go along with it. Anyway, I said what I said. Now, once you've been in the family for about 10 years, then is when you start calling people bitches. And on the 15th year, you can call your mother-in-law a bitch if she get wrong. Anyway, now getting to that. Y'all know that's out of order, but I meant it. I meant every word. Anyway, listen, we hanging in with this show. We giving them grace, but I still say to the powers that be, if you ever run across this this broadcast, that you may never. We need Lynn Whitfield. We need Lynn Whitfield. Listen, the lady that's playing the mother now, the lady's playing Vanessa, you could be Lynn's understudy. Yeah, you be her understudy. But we need Lynn to deliver these lines, honey. Because, girl, you just not giving me what I need right now. Either that or you got to, come on, you got to step your cookies up, sis. Anyway, I'm out of here. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out. And I will catch y'all next week. Later, y'all.